what was the moment for you where it just clicked and you're just like, I'm doing it?
October of 2023. What if I did this? Like, I could do it.
What does that look like for you?
So the first thing I did was I called up the seller. I think I'm interested in buying your business. Could I do a ride along with you?
Hard industry to make money in.
Now the hard part starts of like, okay, how do I actually make this deal happen? Because I don't have the kind of money he's looking for.
When did you close on the business?
Got on the phone call with him and the loan broker, and sellers can retain 15% for 2 years. You're going to need an SBA loan for the 85%, and you only have to put 5% down.
And you're able to buy it. Matt acquired Top Termite in 2024 and has an awesome story. How's it going, Matt?
I'm doing great. Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jack. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. Anytime I deal with somebody who has purchased a home service industry business and came from the wine industry,
Right.
I'm always drawn to it because it's my story, and I know how brutal both industries can be. So it's almost like a masochistic thing that goes on.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I didn't set out to do that, but yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, the wine industry is crazy, as I'm sure you know.
Of course. Yeah. And so start there, or start if you need to go a little farther back. So you bought Top Termite last year.
Mm-hmm.
How did you start the process of deciding to make that journey switch or career switch? And how did the wine industry either help or hurt you in the process? If you like what you heard and want more content like this, head on over to JackQuisitions.com or click the link below to sign up for the weekly newsletter.
Yeah, so I'll have to start back with when I got into the wine industry, which was back in 2014. My dad had already started the wine label, but he didn't have a tasting room or anything like that. He was just, him and a partner were just selling wine to restaurants and selling direct. And then in 2014, he decided he wanted to open up a tasting room. And then that's when I joined him. And I moved up to Northern California, to Sonoma, and helped him open up the tasting room and put it together. And then I didn't really know what I was doing and that I wanted to be in the wine industry. I just was helping him. And I ended up staying. There was an issue with his partner. The partner left. And my dad owns a construction business. So like, this was like a side project for him. And so he was just like, do you want to run it? Like, do you want to take over? And I was like, yeah, I'm here. Let's do it. And so I just dove in headfirst and took over the wine company and basically handled everything. I was running the business from top to bottom. I was handling the sales, doing the events, doing the wine club, you name it. The wine production, I handled all of that. The only thing I didn't do was the winemaking. We had a winemaker that did that.
Yeah, of course.
So then speeding up to 2019, I mean, we're basically plugging along. We're not really making money. I'm not really paying myself any money. I'm just running it.
Hard industry to make money in.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So then I talked with my dad, and he's kind of like, yeah, like, we're not making money. He doesn't really want to put any more money into it. And I'm like, I agree. We don't need to keep, because in my mind, it's going to take another 10 years to get where we want to be, in terms of being able to produce the amount of wine that we want to and spend the amount of money we want to. So we decided to sell the winery and sell the company. So we talked to my brother-in-law, who's a business broker out in North Carolina. And I didn't know anything about being a business broker. I didn't know about that industry. I didn't know about the M&A world. I knew nothing. And so I started working with him, and he was helping us value the company. And I was like, wow, this is really fascinating. Like, I really like this process of trying to figure out how much is this winery worth with the building? What is it worth without the building? How can we value
and all that stuff?
How can we value?
No, that's really neat.
Yeah. And how can we value the wine club? How do we value the inventory that we have in stock? So we go through that whole process. And in 2020, in January, we're about to put it on the market, and we're packaging it. We're getting all the marketing together. And then soon after that, in March, was the pandemic.
COVID.
And then everything hits, and it's like, okay, everything just goes on pause. I'm like, okay, we're not selling the winery right now. Like, that's just not going to happen. And then later in 2020, we had the fires, and then we couldn't even produce wine if we wanted to because of the smoke taint. It ruined all the, that vintage for the most part for the grapes that we were going to buy. And so we didn't produce wine that year. And so it was just like, okay, we're not gonna be able to sell this, and we're not gonna be able to make more wine. Let's just get rid of it. And me and my girlfriend decided we were going to move back down to Los Angeles, and that's where we're from. And so it was like this big change that happened right away. And so yeah, we let go of it. We ended up just selling our inventory to Costco and selling the building and just kind of piecemealing it out.
Yeah.
And then so I moved back to LA and had no idea what I was going to do next. Basically a career restart. No idea what I was going to, what path I was going to take next. But I kept referring back to my experience with my brother-in-law of, valuing the business and putting it together to market and figuring out who could the buyer be. And then after thinking about it for about a year, I did a wine job down there. I was working for Regal, just doing wine distribution, just to have a job. And I was talking to my brother-in-law, and he's like, "Hey, why don't you become a business broker?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, that'd be great. I'd be really interested in doing that." So I got my real estate license and became a business broker. And I joined an office that was brand new. I was the first agent that the broker had signed. And she was brand new to the business as well. She was like 3 months in and being a business broker. But I just dove headfirst into that.
Yeah, I mean, good timing too, because 2020, 2021. I mean, it was a good time for wine, surprisingly. I know you piecemealed off everything, but
right.
I know the wine industry saw a huge boom as well. And then you moved into another booming business, which is the brokerage business in 2021 was absolutely exploding.
Yeah. So I would say it was closer to 2022 when I actually became a business broker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it took a while to take the test and whatever, get the real estate license. So I did that, and then, yeah, it was busy. I mean, a lot of people were interested. I think I got right away, pretty quickly, I got up to 8 listings that I was.
Was there any niche that you started focusing in early on, or
no.
You were just kind of shotgun approaching everything?
Yeah, I was trying to get any business owner, any seller that was interested in selling the business, I was willing to work with them. So I had a physical therapy practice. I had a pizza shop. I had an audio video installation business, a flooring company, and of course I had the termite business. And so that was actually one of my listings. And I reached out to the seller and to see if he was interested in selling, and he was. And he gave me his tax returns and P&Ls, and I did a valuation for him. And he was blown away. He's like, "Well, you really think I can sell my business?" Because he didn't think he could sell it. He was just, wanted to see what this was about. And I was like, "Yeah, this is super profitable." I mean, it was the best business that I came across, and it was extremely profitable. And I was like, "This is going to sell like right away. I'm going to have a buyer, within 2 months." And so for me, I wasn't really thinking about buying a business. I was wanted to be a broker, but I also was like, "Oh, in 5 years, I'll buy my own business because I'll know exactly what industry I want to be in. I've seen all the different types of businesses there are, and I know the ins and outs." And so it wasn't really on my radar. So I get his listing, I market it, and immediately I got dozens and dozens of interested buyers. I mean, I'm doing meetings every day, calls, phone calls. At first, it's a lot of private equity, right? Because they're really interested in this space. But the problem is they all soon left. As soon as they talked to me and they found out about the business, they weren't interested because this is a branch 3 pest control business, which means we only deal with wood destroying organisms. So only termites.
Okay. So it's termites only versus
pest control.
Yep.
Which the difference is, this is not recurring revenue. This is project-based. And so all the private equity groups, they just want pest control. They just want that recurring revenue, it's a company that has the routes and their technicians, and you just service them, and they don't really need to get involved. And this was not that. This was the seller's been doing it for 30 years. It's an amazing business. He's built it up. He has a couple of employees. His wife works in the business. She does the bookkeeping. They've had an office manager there for 15 years. And all of the real estate agents in LA use him. So basically, we work with real estate agents. We go and do the inspection for the buyer, and we do the repair work and the treatment work for the buyer before they move into their new home.
Super interesting. So rather than being like a typical pest control company that would be a B2C, route-based, recurring revenue type service with some upsells, this business was actually a B2B business working with realtors who then sold you to their clients. And it's a singular project-based fumigation and removal business.
Yeah. So what's interesting is no money is exchanged between us and the real estate agents. It's just, they just recommend us to the buyer. They're like, because the buyer is like, hey, who do you use for termite inspection? And I'm like, oh, we use Top Termite for all of our inspections.
But I mean, it's same as like restoration companies, right? Restoration companies, it's almost identical in the sense that the restoration company is B2B marketing because all they work with is plumbers. Like we get restoration companies in our plumbing business every single day that are just dropping off cupcakes and cookies and whatever. Because then we give them the leads for any kind of mold or leaks, so we don't actually pay them, but we give them their leads. So it's an interesting model. Always find that interesting.
So that's why a lot of buyers dropped out, because they're like,
I could see that.
This is too much risk. Are the real estate agents going to stop calling because the seller leaves? As soon as he leaves, are they just going to call someone else? Because
it's extremely relationship based.
Right. There's no reason for them to stay with us beyond just they trust the work that the seller was doing.
So you're seeing this business with a great P&L that's super profitable, that has a lot of action, but once they find out that it's not the action that they want or typical action, you decide at some point that like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. So it was 5 months of trying to find a buyer and just being super frustrated and getting a lot of good buyers. A lot of individual buyers started coming from the tech world, and they're just like, hey, this checks all my boxes, except I don't want to become a termite inspector. They didn't want to get the license and do the work that the seller did, which this kind of required. It would be really difficult to try and just, manage this from afar. And, if you don't really know what's going on.
What was the moment for you where it just clicked and you're just like, I'm doing it? Because there's that moment, right, where you're sitting there and you're like, well, I don't have a buyer. My other listings have sold. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, no, there definitely was a moment. It was October of 2023. And I was with, my girlfriend. She's my fiance now, but my girlfriend at the time, and my cousin, who's a real estate agent. She's big time in Beverly Hills. And I was just talking to her about this listing. I was like, because I know she works with termite companies, and I was just talking with her out loud, and then it just kind of like hit me in the head. Like while I was talking to her, I was like, what if I did this? Like I could do it. It just, it just struck me. And I was like, maybe I should pursue this. Maybe I should check it out. So the first thing I did was I called up the seller, and I had a really good relationship because I was doing meetings with him almost every day. So I was like, hey, I think I'm interested in buying your business. Could I do a ride along with you? Could I just come ride in your truck and see what you do on a daily basis? And he kind of laughed at me. Like he didn't think I was serious. And he's like, yeah, you can come. And I'll never forget the first house he brought me to. It was a big house, and we went into the sub area, and it was 7 different compartments that you had to crawl in, and then crawl out and go into another compartment. And I just followed him. I went behind him and did what he did. And we came out, and he was like, that was the toughest crawl space like I've ever done in 30 years. He's like, I've never done anything like that before. And he's like, you made it through. And I was like, okay, like I can do this. That's going to be the hardest part about doing this work, is crawling underneath a house and getting dirty. It's like, okay, I feel comfortable. I feel confident I can do this.
Are most of those like that? Because California, I mean, it's mostly slab, right? So you're not actually running into crawl spaces all
No,
too
I
much,
would
or
say majority of the homes that we go into in LA are have raised foundations, and that's because most of them were built, a long time ago. The new
okay,
houses are all concrete slab for the most part.
yeah,
But yeah, most of the houses here in LA were built in the 50s,
that
60s,
makes sense.
70s. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I've been open with you. Like I grew up in Inland Empire, which is all
Mhm.
new houses in the '90s. So we were all slab, but that
Right.
makes sense about LA. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you do this ride along, you like it, or you not necessarily like it, but you're like, it's not that bad.
Right. Yeah, I would say at this point, like I love it. Like I've grown to love the work.
Uh-huh.
But we'll get into that. But yeah, so I did it, and I was like, okay, this makes sense. And like the opportunity is just too much to pass up. The amount of money that he's making every year was just unreal. And he owned multiple homes. He already had his retirement home in Laguna Hills in Orange County. He owned
Yeah.
houses in New York, Chicago. He owned multiple houses in LA, and I was like, just looking at how he operated the business, how he lived his life, and I was like, I can't pass this up. Like, I need to continue what he's been doing for 30 years. Um, so now the hard part starts of like, okay, how do I actually make this deal happen? Because I don't have the kind of money he's looking for, like on hand. Like I don't have cash to throw at this business. I've been a business broker for a year and a half, making zero money. I haven't closed a deal, so I had zero income. Um, so I had to get creative in how I acquired this business. And of course, I did try to do all 100% seller finance. I brought it up to him, and he
Yeah.
was just like, "No,
Like,
that's not going to happen." I thought I had a good rapport with him, and all that, but so I gave that a shot, and it didn't happen. So I called my brother-in-law because he's a business broker and he's doing great, and
mhm.
he's like, "Okay, let's talk to a loan broker. You're going to have to get an SBA loan. Let's
Yep.
let's work with him." So I got got on the phone call with him and the loan broker, and the loan broker was awesome. He was like, all right, this is what we do. You're going to do a partial buyout. You're going to buy 85% of the business. Seller's going to retain 15% for 2 years. You're going to need an SBA loan for that 85%, and you only have to put 5% down.
If you're looking to buy or sell an HVAC or plumbing company, you need the best, not some generalist who just sold a Subway franchise last week, but you need the absolute GOAT of HVAC and plumbing M&A. And that's why I work with Patrick Lang at Business Modification Group. Patrick has sold more HVAC and plumbing businesses than anyone I know. He knows the buyers, he knows what the company is worth, and he knows how to get deals across the finish line. If you're an owner thinking about selling, or you're a buyer looking for your next deal, Patrick is the guy to go to. You want him in your corner, click the link below or head on over to businessmodificationgroup.com/JQ and get on his newsletter for exclusive deals or sign up for a free deal review and see what a business is worth. So essentially he was going to so he's going to push the loan the entire length of a certain portion of that 15%, the entire length of the loan, and then take a secondary note sooner, or was it? So, right, usually when that works, it's because the owner is going to defer acceptance of payment for the entire length of the loan. Sometimes 2004 or 23 and 24 had different rules, so I'm trying to remember
Yeah,
back then.
this is the different rule that they've already rolled this rule back, so you can't do
Okay.
this anymore. But basically, it was just straight up. He got paid 85% in cash for the loan, and then after 2 years, I buy the rest of
So
the
is it,
shares out,
yeah,
basically.
2-year delay then. Okay.
2 year
That
delay
makes
for the
sense. 24
15%.
months.
Yeah.
And then with that so once again, another rollback is now licensing is a whole different beast that changed on June 1st of this year.
Yep.
Were you able to then utilize his license for those 2 years while you
Yes.
got your own?
Yeah. So I got my license actually during due diligence. I got my field rep,
Oh,
but
awesome. Mm-hmm.
I don't have my operators, and you need an operator's license to run the business. But I don't really need his because there's an employee already with the business that has an operator's license that I can
Okay.
use that. So that wasn't a sticking point. But it could be for other industries for sure that require licensing.
Yeah.
This the pest control is a little bit easier to deal with.
Well, I just know like pest control in California can be specifically difficult with
Yeah.
licensing, but that makes sense. If somebody's there and already has the time into it,
Yeah.
they were able to hold after a short period.
Yeah, and it takes, well, that's to get my operators. It's going to take me probably another 2 years before I can
Yeah.
get mine, just because they require so many hours to before you can get it.
Hmm.
So I should be on the
Okay.
way
So
there though.
yeah, but so you structure this awesome creative deal. You only have
Yeah.
to put 5% down, which
Hmm.
by the way is still possible just with different creativity in the
Right.
terms. Um, and you're able to buy it. And so
Yeah.
you start going to your finding an M&A attorney and a
Yep.
due diligence firm.
Yep.
What does that look like for you?
So, fortunately, when I was a business broker, I was networking a lot and
Yeah.
trying to meet transaction attorneys. So I met an amazing attorney that I had been referring to other people and stuff like that, and so I used him on my deal, and he was amazing. Like, just knew what to do. He knew that this was a transaction. He's not trying to litigate. He's not trying to argue every single point in the agreement. He's just trying to get the deal done for as cheap as possible. Even though he wasn't cheap, it costs a lot of money, especially here in California. But
Hmm.
he wasn't trying to drag things on, which, of
Endless
course,
redlining, yes.
yeah,
Well, I mean, that's we on this show really try to push that, like, find a good M&A attorney who has lots of experience. I mean, it sounds like if you were referring to him deals, he's done a few before.
yep,
You've kind of got him through industry, so like that's the key to make sure you find someone who's not going to be the person who's arguing over every single little red
right,
line, so that the deal gets pushed into infinity
yeah,
and
and
your pocketbook as well.
right, and I can't say the same for the seller side. I mean, the
Yeah.
attorney they used was just, I don't know if he just didn't have experience or he wasn't understanding what an SBA loan was, but he tried to kill the deal multiple times and was advising the seller not to do it because he's like, hey, the loan is in the business name, right? Because I'm getting an SBA loan for Top Termite. And he's like, no, you can't do that. It has to be under your name. Like, you have to get the loan in your name only. And I was like, well, kind of. I mean, I'm a personal guarantor on the loan, but the loan is for Top Termite. It's not for me. And so there's this misunderstanding that for like 2 weeks straight, he just was not getting what we were trying
Was
to do.
was that because it was a stock sale, so you actually kept the original?
Yeah, it was a stock sale.
Okay.
Yes. So
Yeah,
we
that
kept the
makes
same
sense.
entity. Um,
Yeah.
so he was very hesitant and thinking like we were trying to scam the seller or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was crazy.
He didn't understand that it doesn't actually the loan doesn't go through until it closes, and then when it closes, it now is in your name, and you're the
Right.
personal guarantor, no longer the old owner.
Right.
Interesting. So you had that, and I'm sure you just continued the back and forth, worked with your lawyer to really like push
Hmm.
through, like, hey, no, this is the case. And then what did due diligence look like, especially with the stock sale? Generally more uncommon,
Yeah, it
but
was quite extensive. Again, working with my loan broker, he helped me through the whole process during due diligence, and so he walked me through it, which was amazing. Because yes, I was a business broker, but I hadn't gone this far in a deal before. I've had
yeah.
offers and LOIs and things like that, but I hadn't gotten to this part of the deal stage. So it was new to me.
Did you do your own QOV, or did you actually hire a firm to?
Yeah, I didn't hire someone to do a QV. I basically did it myself. Yeah, I mean, I had access to all his books. I
Yeah.
had access to a CPA. I had everything in front of me already. I had been following the business for 5 months before that, so I knew that money was coming in and what it was being spent on. And it helped that his books were super clean. I mean, his tax returns were legit, like super clean. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he just,
It definitely makes it a lot more, it's not something I recommend, but it helps when you trust the guy a lot more because you've been working
yeah,
with him for 5 months,
right.
he's a good person, um, and
Yeah,
his
I
clean
had I had
books.
kind of an advantage with that, and I
Right.
did trust him. I've gotten to know his family, and I could
Mhm.
see from the inside how he ran the business, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like, I want to continue what he's doing. Like, I like the way that he runs the business. Um,
So then did you af so you finished QOE,
yeah,
um, you're working with a lawyer to do a stock sale,
Hmm.
and when did you finally close? So you started in October of 2023. When did you close on the business?
Uh, June of 2024, June 20th of 2024. So it was a long due
I was gonna
diligence
say,
process.
do you mind me asking why that took so long? What'd you run into?
Um, well, October is when I had the idea. I would say it
Okay.
wasn't until February when I actually started the due diligence process with the lender.
Okay.
So
So you were under LOI somewhere around February then.
I would I'd say yes. Yeah, we went.
Okay.
I'd say we went under LOI around January, February, something like that. Yeah, it's hard to remember. It
Awesome.
feels like forever ago.
I know, right? And then so awesome. You close in this business, you start running it. How's it been going?
It's been amazing. Yeah, it's funny. Like after I close, if you like, people would ask me like, "Is it really like they say it is? Like, did the seller lie at all or anything?" I was like, "No, like
Ye-
everything's been legit."
Yeah, I say that you had so my takeaways from this episode right now are become a broker, get a bunch of deals, network a ton,
Yeah,
cherry pick the best deal that you love out of your
yeah.
out of all the deals you got, and then you buy it personally.
It worked, even though that wasn't my intention. Really, I mean,
Yeah.
I wanted to be a business broker. Like that
So, uh,
that was
I
it.
mean, though, ironically, it's one of the strategies that we tell people to do, though, because like, how did as a business broker, you you were able to locate a business for sale in the same way that somebody who was a independent searcher
Hmm.
would also locate an off-market deal, right? He'd call the individual and say, "Hey, you interested in selling?"
Right,
And he'd probably have that conversation with them.
right.
So ironically, it's the same path. You just had a different credential
Right.
to get it under sale.
Yeah.
And so you've been running it for a year, it's going well.
Yeah.
What's like the 5-year plan with the business? Some people, buy to sell, some people buy to operate.
Right. Um,
What's the
I think
what are you thinking?
definitely I'm buying to operate right now. I'm loving it. I'm in the middle of growing, so I'm investing a lot back into the business. I've hired three more inspectors since I've started. So I've had to buy trucks and equipment. Um, so right now, my goal is to expand territories. So
Mhm.
I want to do work in Orange County. We've only He's only ever done work in Los Angeles, so I want to expand geographically. And then the next thing is incorporating more services. So
That's what I was gonna ask. Are you gonna end up doing more of that pest control side?
not pest control. I I just I don't know if I want to deal with pest control. It's not
Yeah,
really
it's a
what I'm
different
interested
business,
in.
right?
It's a whole different beast.
Yeah.
But in terms of new services, I want to get into treating new construction
Okay.
homes. So doing the pre-treatment, working with contractors and developers for us to go and spray the house before
Mhm.
they, put the drywall up and stucco. And that's a whole new service line. And really, what pointed me in that direction was the fires that we had earlier this year in
Yeah.
Pasadena. I mean, not Pasadena, but
Altadena.
Altadena and in
Yeah.
Palisades. I mean, thousands of homes burned down. So when we go to rebuild those homes, why not protect them? Why
Yeah.
not spray them for termites, spray the wood so they don't have issues going forward, especially in the Palisades. I mean, that was one of the areas that we worked in, and we lost a lot of business from that this year. I mean, that was probably 15% of our business just gone overnight. And that area was filled with termites. I mean, because it's close to the ocean, there's a lot of moisture, it's warm. Termites love the Palisades. So my thought is, okay, if I want to, expand my business, why not get into this area where, you know, not many other termite companies are thinking about doing that, of like
Yeah.
getting after that business.
Is this that's super interesting. And honestly, the nice part about it is it stays within the B2B realm that you're already working in, so it
Right.
doesn't become like this B2C beast where you have to essentially, start a brand new company
Right.
internally or market differently. But looking back, if you were to talk to your 13, 15-year-old self, do you ever think that you'd be running a
Yeah.
termite mitigation
Oh man.
or killing company?
No, never. Never. It's not something I ever talked about or thought about. I didn't even know, I knew zero about the termite industry, like, or the pest
Mhm.
control industry for that matter. Like, I never owned my own home before. I just knew nothing about it. So it's all new to me, and that's what makes it exciting. I mean, that was kind of my mentality of going into the wine industry. It was like, hey, this is all new and super exciting, and there's so much to learn. And that's how I've approached the termite industry. It's just like, I love learning every day something new, and going
Yeah.
into a different type of home, and dealing with a different type of issue pretty much every day. I mean, no day is the same in this industry for sure.
Yeah. Well, super interesting. I mean, looking back over the whole M&A experience, is there a soapbox that you wanna stand on and warn potential people? Because a lot of our listeners are searchers first time.
Yeah.
Like, what is a big watch out for you that you're extremely passionate about that if anyone asks you, "Hey, Matt, I'm buying a business," what do you tell them?
Yeah. First and foremost, you have to have the right mindset, because there's going to be many times throughout the deal that are going to go haywire. Things aren't going to go your way, and you have to stay positive. Like, you have to stay in that kind of mindset to keep you moving forward, because people are going to tell you no. Things like what happened with mine. Like, the other attorney wanted to kill the deal, and it's like, okay,
Mhm.
I can't let that get to me. I need to keep moving forward.
Well,
Um,
not to mention, and just to quickly add, I know this is your soapbox, but I'm
yeah.
gonna jump on real quick. Like, that's running a business too, by the way.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
what I always laugh at people is if they give up in the beginning on honestly, the buying of the business for most people is the easy part, and the running
Right.
the business
Yeah.
is the hard part. So if you're getting discouraged or you're just not able to figure things out, that's what being a business owner ends up being anyway.
Right.
So it's a great time to start flexing that muscle and
Yeah.
understanding, like, there's a "how can I" mentality and "how can we work together
Yeah.
and cooperate to get something done" mentality that you just gotta start building early on.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Along those lines is, having a good team with you to help you through those moments. So, me having my brother-in-law as a business broker, having the loan broker, having the attorney
Mhm.
who were on my side, who understood my goals and what I was trying to do, to walk me through those tough times, and I could lean on them for help and guidance. That was super important. So, having a good team with you is extremely vital. And asking for help. I think that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned from being in the wine industry to now. When I was running the wine business, I didn't ask for help a lot. I just I was like, okay, I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to, you know, this is mine, and I'm going to do it. And then through this process, I've learned, like, I need to lean on other people. That's what's going to help me get to the next level, is um, getting that guidance and that understanding and that support, where I can't get all of that from myself. Um, so yeah, that was super important.
Yeah, completely agree. We have full episodes on building the right team because it's so huge. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
only way to do it. Awesome, Matt. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story today. This is super fun. I'm gonna definitely pick your brain on pest control later on,
Yeah.
specifically this termite area because it's super interesting to me. But if people want to find you, if people want to connect, hear more of your story, hear more about the industry, where can they find you at?
Yeah. I'm on LinkedIn. Just my name, Matthew Railla. You can also email me, Matt at toptermiteco.com. Always happy to connect and chat with people, help them through the process. It was super interesting for me, and I love talking about it. I love helping people with their searches and their acquisitions. So yeah, super open to it.
Awesome, Matt. Fully agree. Thanks for coming on today. And if you like what you heard, like, review, sub, whatever the kids tell you you're supposed to be doing to these episodes.
Right on.
Leave us a comment, share it with your mom, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Right on.